So Brown University, one of the places I went to school, just sent out an email to the community warning international students and scholars not to travel. This is following a headline. I just seen it now on the weekend. Doctor and professor is deported despite judge's orders. Basically, the courts are trying to step in, yet the Trump and the Musk people want to deport as fast as they can. I want to go over this. I think it's very, very important. USA is an international place. There's people from all walks of life there. And unfortunately, the Trump and the Musk people are trying to overstep their bounds. This is coming from Brown University, a kidney transplant specialist and professor at Brown Medical School has been deported from the United States, even though she had a valid visa and a court order temporarily blocking her expulsion. That's according to her lawyer in court papers. Her name is Dr. Rasha Alawi. She's 34, a Lebanese citizen who traveled to Lebanon last month to visit relatives. I think she's visiting her parents, something like that. Was detained on Thursday when she returned to the United States, according to a court complaint filed by her cousin, Yara. The judge, Leo Sorokin of the Federal District Court in Massachusetts, ordered the government on Friday evening to provide the court with 48 hours notice before deporting Dr. Allaway. But she was put on a flight to Paris, presumably on her way to Lebanon. So the court, again, was trying to step in, saying, like, looks like your paperwork's, you have a valid visa, stuff like that. And here's the thing, like what's the hurry with Trump and Musk to deport people? That's what's going on. According to Miss Chabav's complaint, so that's the cousin, when Dr. Allaway landed at Boston Logan International Airport on Thursday, she was detained by Custom and Border Protection officers and held at the airport for 36 hours for reasons that are unclear. And I just really want to make this stuff, as clear as possible, guys, is that these are just regular people. As a professor, doctor, was it kidney transplant? I think it's her specialty. She teaches at Brown, and they're just holding people at the airport. She's got her papers, is what it sounds like. Ms. Saunders said in the affidavit that she went to the airport Friday and notified Customs and Border Protection officials there before the flight to Paris was scheduled to depart, that there was a court order barring the doctor's expulsion. She said that the officers there took no action and gave her no information until the plane had taken off. It's pretty crazy. The agency did not immediately respond to requests for comment. And then talking about Dr. Allaway's background, she graduated from American University in Beirut, 2015. And she came to the USA and she did a medical fellowship at Ohio State University, University of Washington, and was a resident at Yale. And then I guess before she had a J1 visa, would have been like a student visa. This was also on the Brown University news, because this is just all this weekend. Brown professor, doctor held by customs officials at Boston Airport after travel to Lebanon. And one of her colleagues made a statement. It says, the incident comes amid a nationwide crackdown on immigration by Trump administration. Quote, my colleagues and I are outraged at Dr. Allaway's detention and deportation without due process. That's coming from George Bayless, who's a Brown medicine doctor and associate professor of medicine. This is a picture of Dr. Allaway. I think the Trump and Musk people are targeting certain groups, which is pretty obvious. I also want you to understand that Musk is the biggest hypocrite in the world.
You see these numbers every day, but for us to hear, we'll give you $3 million.
Yeah, it sounded extremely, we thought they were crazy. Why would they do that?
It was literally like, these people are insane.
They obviously do not realize we're sleeping in the office.
In fact, when they did fund us, they realized that we were illegal immigrants.
Well, I mean,
yes, we were.
I'd say it was a gray area.
Yeah, yes, we were. We were illegal immigrants. We were sleeping in the office. We didn't have a car. We had one car, but the wheel kept falling off.
But, well, actually, yeah, the wheel.
So I have to bring up the Musk stuff because you have to understand that he was skirting the system during his time as a student when he finished Pennsylvania, University of Pennsylvania. I also went to school there. And then Musk then went to Stanford but didn't enroll. And then he was sort of in a limbo status. And then him and his brother were raising money and starting a company, which frankly, if they're illegal immigrants, it's all illegal. So these guys are massive hypocrites. And essentially, it looks like they're trying to deport and close the border to specific countries. So that's why, the University, Brown University was already, warning people about what's going on. I didn't know this actually. This was back in December. Says Brown wants international students back at campus before Trump's inauguration, right? So that they were worried that Trump would start targeting specific students or whatever from specific countries. And so I remember there was this fight because it's so much to track to where essentially it was churches and schools, these kind of places were, trying to stop basically deportations on these places because you don't necessarily just want ICE coming in and harassing students, scholars, etc. all the time, right? And I saw recently, and I haven't mentioned it, but I think it was a Columbia University, again, another good school. It's in New York, where they were like searching dorm rooms of students and that kind of stuff. And this is just coming out now, just today, March 16th, 2025. Brown advises all international community members to postpone and reconsider travel. I want to read the email that just came out. I understand that this kind of stuff may be, people who haven't been to these kind of places, realize like how international the USA is. There's lots of international students, scholars, etc. They come to contribute to the country, contribute to the world, really. And these are the people you want. They're medical specialists. That's any kind of specialist like this. Says 1 week before spring break, Brown advised international community members, including visa holders and permanent residents, to postpone international travel in campus-wide email sent on Sunday. Quote, potential changes in travel restrictions and travel bans, visa procedures, and processing, re-entry requirements, and other travel-related delays may affect travelers' ability to return to the U.S. as planned. And that's coming from the Executive Vice President for Planning and Policy, Russell Carey. He advised community members to evaluate domestic travel plans, right? So warning, don't travel internationally and be careful traveling even within the country. Quote, it is unclear whether there may be implications also for domestic travel within the United States as the federal policy landscape continues to evolve. The federal government has not publicly communicated travel restrictions or bans. So there isn't a travel ban yet, but I do remember Trump's first term in office. I remember that there was travel bans right away, and I was actually in LA at the time. It was I think that was back 2016. That's a while ago already, and I think I was hoping we'd have to live through this stuff again. I remember that the thing that really pissed me off. It was back 2016 when there was a translator from Iraq and local Iraqi, and I think he or she, I think it was a he though, was detained at the LAX. And I actually went down to protest at that time. I remember really clearly because that particular person put their life on the line for America. Seriously, like translator for Iraqi. And I was like so pissed off. And, I try to, maintain composure when we do these things. And every day I wake up and it's there's different stories that affect you, whatever. I try my best to care about everyone. And I when I see something that's even keeps getting closer and closer to home, and in this situation, basically a professor from my university gets deported, right? And then, my university is like, hey, don't travel anywhere if you're an international student, even if you're, they said, permanent resident, be careful about traveling within the country. I mean, it's not good. I don't know how to put it. Or, like I told you guys before in my last video, Trump is shutting down the VOA, right? Which is Voice of America. My wife's sister works for the Voice of America. I'm just telling you guys, connections to stuff. But it's not just these two organizations. There's many people in our community are affected by, be it Trump's tariffs or the layoffs, which I know are very, very serious. That's why we talk about this stuff on the channel. And it's upsetting because I think it's unfortunately so many people are getting gaslit by Trump and Musk, because basically what they're going to say is like, oh, well, you know, everyone from a particular country, everyone, they're all bad. That's how they're going to put it. And then the list of countries will keep getting longer and longer. And, you know, I knew it was going in this direction. I was just trying to be optimistic, hoping that it wouldn't happen. And like I said, this is just coming out today that the Brown just sent out an email to members of the community saying basically don't travel. It's not safe. It's basically what they're saying. And so I think it's important to, you know, tell people what's going on and understand it. And I get it, guys. I get it. There's some people in America that just absolutely hate anyone from other countries. I understand that. I don't know what I can do to change that kind of thinking. I think it's wrong thinking. I'll just be perfectly frank about it. And unfortunately, the Musks and Trumps, they amplify that kind of thinking. And I just saw today, you know, there's a bunch of right-leaning podcasts and YouTubers out there that kind of dominate this sort of landscape. And it becomes very difficult for people to just have honest conversations about this stuff when the world is filled with liars. To be perfectly frank, it's really tough out there. But don't necessarily give up. Necessarily be more positive. Know you're not alone in this stuff, and that's sort of why we have to, you know, tell people what's going on. This particular story is very similar to the one we just talked about with the people of Venezuelan origin, where the courts step in and be like, yo, you know, what about due process, these kind of things, right? And the Trump Musk people just try to throw someone on a plane as quickly as they can and just get them out. It's very chaotic right now, but I do know, because I have friends who are in this struggle, who are frankly lawyers, right? Work in the legal system, and will fight for people's rights. So don't think that, you know, people are just going to lay down and do nothing. I try my best just to tell you what's happening. I didn't even know about this one. This is alarming to me. Let's be perfectly frank. So I'll try to do videos on other topics. You know, next just talk about something else. But I think this is just something I want to address. So I do appreciate your time, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video.